Okay, camera's on. Good morning. Good morning. How are you, Mr. Chamada?
How are you?
What are you doing here?
I'm here for my land.
For your land?
Yes.
Okay.
That you've taken.
Oh.
It was given to me 4 years ago by the government.
No, we've been to the SEDEC tribunal, as you know, Mr. Chamada.
Who is SEDEC? I'm SEDEC.
Yes, and SEDEC has said...
I am SEDEC.
SEDEC has given us full relief
I am SEDEC.
Until the main case.
I am SEDEC.
Yes.
And they had the same feeling as I
SEDEC
have.
has said, until the main case, you cannot interfere.
Is that why you're refusing to get out of this farm? Tell me.
This is my home, Mr.
It is your home. Well, you're in the wrong home. Who did you pay? The African, or you paid another white fellow?
We paid transfer duties to the Zimbabwe government. We bought it on a willing seller, willing buyer basis.
Is it?
We didn't steal it.
Is it? Now, anyway, that's unfortunate because we've realized without land, you have nothing. That's why we're here. And
but you've got land, Mr.
We
Chamada.
haven't got land.
I've been to your house in Harare.
Yes. Have you?
Yes.
You've been raiding my home also.
No, I've
what
driven
were you
past
coming
it.
for?
The guard wouldn't let me through the gate.
Is it? So what were you looking for?
I was coming to see where you lived.
And what? And do what?
Well, if you want to steal my house, maybe you can give me your house.
The land belongs to the black peasants. It is ours. The government took it from you people to redistribute it to the black poor majority.
This sort of encouragement from their leaders, together with the lack of any restraint applied by Britain or the United Nations, has encouraged the black mobs who are seizing the white farms. Last weekend, they murdered a white farmer just 50 miles from the Retzlaff farm. Black squatters invaded the farm of David Stevens, 75 miles east of Salisbury. They abducted Stevens, a father of 4, including 2-year-old twins, and 5 of his neighbors who had come to his rescue when he radioed for help. Stevens, considered a flaming liberal by his neighbors, had been determined to maintain good race relations with his black workers. He always distributed 10% of the gross earnings of his farm to his black workers over and above their salaries, and he took a personal interest in their problems. When a mob of Mugabe supporters, so-called war veterans, showed up at his farm last Saturday and began attacking his black workers with machetes, Stevens tried to protect them. He tried to reason with the mob. Just as his neighbors drove up to help him, the blacks handcuffed Stevens and threw him into the back of his own car and drove off with him. 30 other veterans followed in a bus belonging to a Christian missionary station.
On Saturday afternoon, they announced that they will intensify their program of expropriating land without compensation. Speaking at the launch, BLF President Andile Mngxitama says they will start by forcefully seizing billionaire Johan Rupert's land.
Declare that the land and its wealth underground, the oceans and the skies belong to us. That our suffering, our poverty, the violence in the townships, in the squatter camps, in the rural villages is caused by our landlessness. Let us also note that after 23 years, after 23 years democracy, only 35 white people own 80% of South African land.
A declaration of ownership. BLF intends to intensify their expropriation of land program. They've announced on their intention.
We understand that 400 years later we are still landless, dispossessed and oppressed, and we black people need to essentially come together so that we can take back the land. So this event right now forms as the center of what is going to be a year-long process of taking back the land. And by the end of this year we are very clear, Johan Rupert is in danger, he's in trouble, black people are coming together and we're going to take white-owned, in-use land, particularly Johan Rupert's land.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. and the leadership of the EFF. This is a motion that seeks to unite black people in South Africa. And ordinarily, if leadership was provided, we shouldn't be having this debate, because the land should have been returned into the hands of the rightful owners. We all know that the Dutch gangsters arrived here and took our land by force. And the struggle has since been about the return of the land into the hands of rightful owners. Yet those who went to negotiate on behalf of our people during the negotiations sold out this fundamental principle which constituted the struggle against colonialism. So those who claim to be radical enough and who want radical change today should actually be in the forefront of agreeing that this constitution must be changed to make it possible for our people to own the land.
Last week, South African President Jacob Zuma called for the expropriation of land owned by white South Africans via a change in the constitution. Zuma, who made the call while speaking to Parliament, also asked for unity between the black parties so that they could carry the 2/3 majority needed to change the constitution. According to the Telegraph, Zuma wants a, quote, pre-colonial land audit of land use and occupation patterns, unquote, before the new law is passed. Zuma was also later quoted in the Daily Mail saying, quote, once the audit is completed, one law should be written so that we can handle land restitution without compensation. The necessary constitutional changes will be made. The black parties should unite on this issue, unquote.
We are so tired of you guys. You come here, you grab every nice thing away from us. Everything nice,
Mr.
you take it
Shimada,
away.
we own about 2% of the whole land in Zimbabwe. Can a white person not be a Zimbabwean anymore?
Not anymore, like our
Why
president
not?
indicated to you crystal clear. They indicated to you that we don't want to have anything to do with you people. We have shifted from you guys to the Asians. We have nothing to do with you.
So a white person can't own a house, can't own any land, can't do
with
any
the white
farming.
fellows because we've realized your attitude is cantankerous. We want to deal with friendlier people. The Chinamen, many of them. Indians, not you. Not you. We don't want you anymore. Get it right? We don't.
But we are Zimbabweans.
We don't care whether you're Indian, Malawi, Karanga, whatnot. We just don't want you in particular. Yourself.
Just because we're white, eh?
Anyway, I'm not talking to you anymore. You can take it wherever you want. I'm happy. And I'm telling you, the land belongs to us. End of story.
Dr. Stanton noted that recent studies of the correlation between corruption and atrocities committed by governments show that the relationship is direct. Once in power, corrupt governments cling to power because of the enormous wealth their officials amass. They then persecute, torture, and murder anyone who challenges their grip on power. That downward spiral has begun in South Africa, just as it did in Zimbabwe. In Zimbabwe, it resulted in the Gukurahunde genocide against Joshua and Nkomo's Matabele people and Mugabe's repression of the MDC. Dr. Gregory Stanton, Research Professor in Genocide Studies and Prevention at George Mason University, 5 December 2014.